Now it's time for Best TV Drama. Our presenter for this year's Dorian for Best TV Drama has been serving drama, honey, ever since her modeling career bolted her to stardom and a series of firsts. She is a revered ball culture artist in NYC and has been the face of brands like Tommy Hilfiger, photographed by legends like Steven Canals, who I'm loving. Oh my. She was the first transgender woman of color to appear in Vogue India. Last month was the first trans woman of color to grace the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. She was fierce. Hello. That took a while, didn't it? And she is the first trans woman of color in a leading role in a Cannes Film Festival darling, which was called Port Authority by Martin Scorsese. Hello. That 2019 film led her to the mega TV hit Pose. She joined the show as Pretensia Khan. I think that's Shaka's illegitimate sister. And it's now she's up and coming in this new film, asking for it with names like Ezra Miller and Friends of Gattaca, Gabby Sidibe. She is Leyna Bloom, and we all need to strike a pose for her.
Thanks, Karel. I think we all know drama comes in all shapes and sizes, every shade and every color of the rainbow in every situation, from mildly annoying to major, and I prefer my drama on TV. This year, the members of the Society of the LGBTQ Entertainment Critics have found 5 powerhouse series that excel above the now literal tens and thousands of dramas available online, streaming, and over the air. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but still, they sorted through all the shows so you and I don't have to. And they've come up with some doozies for the Dorian, the best TV drama. The nominees are Bridgerton, Shonda Rhimes Goes Netflix, Lovecraft Country, HBO Max, P-Valley Stars, Pose FX, The Crown Netflix. And the winner is Pose. Accepting this award is the co-creator and executive producer, director, and writer, Steven Canals.
Thank you to the Dorian Awards for this incredible honor. So moved and so touched. Well, one, I had amazing collaborators, and we all knew that the stakes were really high, that we had to get it right, that the LGBTQ plus community deserved it, that the individuals, as you noted, who we lost to HIV/AIDS in the beginning of the pandemic deserved it, and everyone who is still living with HIV/AIDS today deserved it. So it started there. It started with having someone like Ryan Murphy, who, like yourself, also lived through it and said, this is exactly what happened. This is what my experience was. It was having someone incredible like Our Lady J, our writer producer, who is a trans woman and is also HIV positive. And then it became incumbent upon me as a storyteller, as a show creator, to do my homework, to go out, and any information that I didn't already have, I needed to talk to folks. I needed to research. And so that's how we got it right. We who are part of the LGBTQIA plus community, we don't ever get to see ourselves in film and in television. And as someone who is a huge lover of film and TV and have been since I was a really small boy, our narratives are always either steeped in our trauma, or, we are we're the body in the gutter, or or AIDS is a death sentence, and so we're not thriving, we're solely surviving, or in the case of AIDS narratives, dying. And so I saw Pose as an opportunity to rewrite the narrative. And what Jenny Livingston's documentary Paris is Burning did for me was that it shined a light on a very particular experience that some people were having in New York in the 80s that was very parallel to my own experience. As you noted, I was born in 1980, so I was a small boy. And I never frequented the balls in the 80s, but my parents grew up in Harlem. And, I was born and raised in the Bronx. I did not know that this community existed. And I wasn't introduced to Paris is Burning until I was already in college and in my 20s. And so to think that I grew up in this neighborhood, my father literally grew up around the corner from where the balls took place. And it's like to think about the fact that this community existed and I didn't know that they were there, and that there was the only account of their existence in film and TV is this documentary. And so for me, I thought, oh, here's an opportunity to craft a show and to tell a narrative that will now, share this community with the entire world. A great question. Well, I think one of the ways that I know for sure that I can aid in continuing telling our story is to support up and coming writers. So if I have the ability and the opportunity to pass scripts along, or through my production company Story Avenue, elevate and take scripts to studios and to networks, then that's the most practical way. And I think in terms of my own practice as a storyteller, it's my willingness to continue to, as I noted earlier, educate myself about all of because there's so many stories to be told, like the LGBTIA community isn't just one thing. And again, I think historically, like our stories just haven't been told, or they've been told by, cis people or straight people. Like we haven't often been the ones at the center of telling our own story. I think that's what made Pose so refreshing and so different. And so for me, it's let me go and look and find what are those narratives. And even if there's stories that feel familiar, even if there's stories that we've seen before, the fact that we are the ones telling it makes it that much more special and different. I'm going to cheat and say that there are two. Our season 1 finale, Mother of the Year, that is an episode that always fills me up because there's something so beautiful about seeing Blanca honored in that way and finally reaching the goal that in the pilot she sets out to achieve. And the other episodes are series finale. It's a really emotional episode, and it is, I think, arguably one of our, if not the most important episode of the show, not solely because it is representative of everything that Pose is, but it so specifically tells the story of our community's survival at a time when we were not being supported by the government and when we didn't have access to quality healthcare. And I think that obviously that feels all the more urgent right now when we're once again in the middle of a global pandemic. And obviously the loss, spoiler alert for folks who haven't seen it, the loss of Pray Tell was also, it was really emotional and tough for me because I lost my grandmother while I was directing the episode. So I could directly relate to the emotions of the characters. So I would say the finale.